Three tips for a better business conference. So it's been about 5 days since the conference just ended. I was the outgoing president for the Idaho Society of Radiologic Technologists. I helped put together this year's conference. Of course, those on the conference board would probably disagree with that. My point being, it was my first time, and there was a lot of lessons I learned by the end of it. So I thought I'd share the top three with you. Number one, do a venue pre-walk. And by that I mean we called and set up the venue, made all the arrangements over the phone, and we're happy there. When we showed up, of course, it was another story. There was issues with food, temperature, audio, visual, lots of things. So number one tip, check out your venue before the conference starts. And I'm going to use my phone because I've been saying all week that I'm going to write this out and say it smartly, and I haven't done it, so I'm just going to cheat. So do the audio visual check as part of your pre-walk. We had mics not working. The place we had the conference ended up going down to Walmart to buy an additional microphone, and what they came back with was a karaoke machine. So we had to use karaoke machine to as a microphone. The good part of that is we now had music in the background. Number two, preview your guest speakers' presentations before they give them. So we were happy as clams because we had plenty of speakers and nobody canceled. Everybody showed up. We even had two backup speakers, which is another bonus. But we did not ask for the presentations before. And at this particular radiology conference, we happened to invite the county coroner who brings bodies by to have them X-rayed and CAT scanned on occasion. So we thought it'd be a good idea. Well, this guy brought videos and pictures of more gore than you would see in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So the evaluations at the end of the conference were a little bit negative about the content of his speech. Had we previewed them beforehand, it wouldn't have happened. We could have done something about that. So we had a post-conference meeting to review everything, and we put in our minutes. Next time around, 6 months out to start looking for speakers, 3 months out, start asking for talks, 1 month out, make sure we have all the talks and go from there. So also to go with that is to research your speakers' introductions. As the MC, I introduced everybody and quickly realized I didn't have any introductions when I was standing up there. So I hopped on my phone, went to LinkedIn, and almost all the presenters were on LinkedIn. I could quickly go through and see their education, prior jobs, where they got their degree from, and give pretty nice introductions based on that. One professor I looked up on the internet where he taught at the university, and the university had a nice list of his credentials, so that was nice. So do your own research on the introduction. One speaker out of I'd say 20 showed up with his own typed out introduction, which was nice. It was half a page, so it took a while to say it, but it was nice. Number three, gauge your audience starting at the beginning of the conference in how they respond or ask questions at the end of each session. And by that I mean you got to allow a certain amount of time for the speaker to give their presentation. We did 50-minute slots, gave 10-minute breaks between speakers. So basically started on the hour, gave the speaker 50 minutes to give the talk, and then gave a 10-minute break for everybody, and then started on the hour again. Well, I quickly learned that if you give them a 5-minute sign at 15 till, they will talk to that 10 till mark and then be done. Well, then there's no time for question and answer. So you want to build in some time for questions and answers for the audience to participate. So then we started giving them a sign around 20 till, gave them 5 minutes to kind of wrap it up, 5 minutes for Q&A, and it worked out pretty nicely. But it's going to depend on your audience. If they don't ask questions, you don't have to worry about it. If they ask a lot of questions, you need to adjust for that. The other thing that this affected, or that the facility affected by not having appropriate room temperature, your first thought is, oh, well, the patrons or the members are going to be uncomfortable. Well, yeah, that's obvious. But what that caused, since they were hot, was they went outside between each session to cool off, which I thought was rational. But after 3 or 4 speakers go by, the vendors who had paid sponsorships to be out in the hall showing their wares started to express concern that nobody was hanging around hearing their spiels, their sales pitches, because they're always going outside to cool off. So we had to work with the facility to get the room temperature down. And then I had to say between speakers, make sure you stop and say hi to our vendors who are graciously enough to sponsor our conference. So make sure your room temperature is good on your venue pre-walk because it can affect your vendor member participation. And that's it. So I hope what I learned helps you out. If you have anything to add on tips for a successful business conference, drop a couple in the comments section so we can all learn. Thanks. See you later.